Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Build America podcast. It's the national podcast that is capturing and sharing the very heartbeat of construction and innovation today. I'm your host, Kerry Smith Buck, and I'm also owner of Construction News and Review magazine, which is affiliated with this podcast. You are in for a treat today, listeners, because we are going to be talking to someone who is talented both in technical aspects of building, but also was inspired to be innovative and to find a market and a niche for a great idea he had that is very, very much being used on construction sites today. And our guest today is Michael Cox, and Michael is president of Horizontal Based Studs and also StepStud inventor. And he's going to just start. I'm going to welcome him to the show, certainly. And he's going to just start by talking a little bit about his innovation, which won an Arch Grant. If anyone's familiar with the St. Louis organization, Arch Grants, a very prestigious and selective grant. So, Michael, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about StepStuds. I think I may have seen you demonstrating it at an expo at one of the Associate General Contractors shows, but please tell us more about you and how you came to be inspired to create StepStuds.
Sure. First of all, Kerry, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving up your time and allowing me to let others know that they have an opportunity out there as an inventor, if they believe it or not. So sure, I've been in the construction industry my whole career as a journeyman cabinet maker and a carpenter. And it was back in 2018 when I was hired on as an in-house carpenter in Missouri's largest healthcare system that I started to do more flood repair than I've ever done in my life. And about every 2 days, there's a flood in this area. And I started to wonder, literally, while I was lying on the ground doing a flood repair, that I wondered why we kept doing the same process over and over again. So that's when the wheels started spinning and I started thinking, there has to be a better way. That's what we all say. There has to be a better way. And sure enough, I went home and I remember that moment just as if it was yesterday. I went home, started making some prototypes, some drawings, and then I made some phone calls and I found some companies that were willing to help me take my drawing to the next level. So that's pretty much where it all took off.
That's amazing that here you are kind of upside down. Are you on a working construction, like a job site, or was it an existing building that you were going into?
This was an existing building. Yes, it was.
Okay, awesome. And I would imagine, Michael, as you share your story, that you probably had that light bulb go off more than once, at least before or after.
I do have an inventive spirit in me. So I've actually created other products in the past, but this by far will be my biggest one.
Oh, that's great. Well, tell us more about the name of it is StepStuds, all one word with a capital S in the middle.
Capital S is Step and Studs. Yes.
Tell us what it is.
I have actually invented and patented the world's first horizontal base stud. There has never been another product like this. The market has never seen a product like this. They actually have to create a category in the metal stud industry for my product. So I created a metal stud that goes around the perimeter of a room or an area anywhere. And its sole purpose is to lift the drywall off of the floor. And it's hidden behind your cove base, so you don't even know it's there. So now, whenever there is a flood or a water intrusion, the water would simply hit the step stud, which is all metal, same galvanized metal as any other stud. Now you would peel your cove base off, dry the area out, and then you would put your cove base right back on. So it really does help in a number of ways. It can put a room back into service in half the time, and it will cut costs down 75% from the old method of tearing out all of the drywall, replacing the drywall, having it painted. You don't have to do that any longer.
Wow, I bet that really expedites, like you said, it saves money, but it saves time, which is money, right?
Yeah, exactly. And everyone nowadays is trying to save both. So
exactly. So, Michael, when you came up with the idea, sort of after you came up with it and before you patented it, how did you figure out? I guess I had kind of two questions rise to my mind. Number one, if it was, a legit need in the market? And number two, maybe they're reverse order. Who was your market?
So initially, my targeted market was the healthcare industry because I have seen this firsthand, the damage that it does do. So I went to them first and they immediately loved it. They really did. They could tell instantly. I could tell by the looks on the faces of everyone in the room when I first showed it to them that they knew that it was a good product. So that was very exciting for me to see on the other side.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. So then as you got to kind of, what am I trying to say, permeate the healthcare industry, did it occur to you that that could also be a product that other sectors would use as well?
Oh, 100%. And actually, it has already been used. I had received a phone call from a local construction company. They were doing a school project and they could not figure out how to keep the drywall dry. So someone had sent them to me to look at the StepStuds, and sure enough, they liked it. They used it. They loved it. The customer loved it. And so I'm very proud of that as well.
Oh, exactly. What what was kind of the period of time from when you first had the idea to when you sold your first unit, or kind of what was that germination period
Sure.
like?
Great question. So I began working there in 2018. So 2018, 19, during 2018 and 19 is when I had thought of making this product. And I told myself, and 20, and then in January of 2021 is when I told myself that I had something very special here. And I knew I had to do something. I either had to give up on it or pursue it. And I did not want to give up. So the drive in me said, okay, let's go. So that's when I started making some prototypes. You start making some phone calls. It takes a lot of legwork. It really does. And it has to be from within you in order to get to the next step, because no one will do it for you. You have to do it yourself. So I did that. And that was in 2021. Filed for a patent almost immediately on it. And I did receive a US patent about a year and a half later. And also, I did begin to sell it to this healthcare system, Missouri's largest healthcare system, as they saw the need for it. So then it snowballed from there. I actually went to my biggest show last year, March of last year, down in Florida on a whim. I took it down there. I had a booth. I set up my whole booth. I had a couple of helpers with me because I did not know what to expect. And this was for the industry, as far as the wall and ceiling industry, as well as the metal stud industry. And I have to tell you, my booth was packed solid for 2 days. I had so many people there, and I knew that it was a very special product that I had. People from all over the world, actually, Germany, Canada, all over the US were around my booth wanting to know, what is this? What's this new product? As an inventor to see.
That's amazing. And where is it manufactured, or is it in different?
Really did try to keep everything local, Kerry. I really did. I do have a manufacturer here in Missouri, but they saw the potential in my product and they said, we want to help you, which I think was just tremendous. I was so excited when they said that. So they're helping me as much as they can, but they're not able to mass produce it. So I have a mass producer set up in Kansas that's ready to go for those orders. Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, we talked before the visit. It's so impressive to me that it's such a winning pairing of smarts, intelligence, practicality of knowing what needed to be done, and just sheer guts. And I'm sure financial commitment to do this. But I wonder if you mentioned you may have a story or two of colleagues on the job or other people, anything you can share that would inspire someone listening today. Maybe it's a product in the construction industry they're thinking of, or maybe it's not. But yeah, if you could share a little bit of real world inspiration, that would be great.
Sure. So I think it's very cool because some of the guys that I've worked with before have come up to me and said, hey, I have this idea for a product, or I'm thinking about this or that. And they've come to me with questions like, what do I do? How do I do it? So I am very impressed with that what they see that I'm doing, have done, that they can also do that. But like I said before, it does is you have to be persistent and you cannot give up on your product.
Yeah, I would imagine I've also gone through the trademarking of names, but trademarking of products, and I'm sure the rigorous testing and the things that go into that have to be enviable amount of challenges.
It has led to that, yes. And I'm still going through all the growing pains. I'm still doing that. It's never ending. But I have successfully gone through some testing. I was very happy with that. And it is a challenge. You just have to figure out as an inventor or someone who wants to be known as an inventor, how to get over that hurdle, how to get over that hump. And that's when you surround yourself with people who can help you. Or you could get referrals from friends, like for a patent attorney. I did not have one on hand, but I talked to people and I got a great suggestion from someone to try this certain attorney, and I did. And he just did an amazing job for me. I was very happy with that.
What would you say to maybe there are some budding entrepreneurs listening that have an idea of a product, but they don't know how to vet that idea? I wondered if you worked with like SCORE or Small Business Development Center, or if you did any other kind of, almost like a small business counseling and support organization that helped you along the way.
So it's funny how this all happened. There's a story in that, and I'll quickly go into that. But I just happened to be at a backyard party that someone had invited, a dinner party. And the neighbor was brought over as one of the guests. And he and I started talking. And that is how all this started to bloom, because he asked me what I did for a living. And then I brought up the fact that I had just invented this product. And first thing he said was, I have some people you need to talk to. So
Wow.
you never know. You never know who you're talking to and who can help you out. So
That's
that was very
amazing.
good. Yeah.
That and it really was just mentioned a neighbor.
Yes, it was a neighbor. And actually, the people that he introduced me to were two of the first winners of the St. Louis Arts Grants. And they love my product so much that they have been mentoring me since day one. And I cannot
Oh.
thank them enough. Yes.
That's great. And so I was going to say, feel free to share a little bit with anyone who's listening who isn't from St. Louis about really you have to tout your horn here about what a competition that is and what the incentive is for that.
Sure. So with the St. Louis Arts Grants, that was without a doubt a lot of work, but it was well worth it. It has opened so many doors for me as an inventor, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for products that will help the St. Louis area. And I was lucky enough to be chosen out of hundreds of companies. I believe 20 of us were chosen for this one. And their incentive is we won a $75,000 St. Louis Arts Grant to use for your small business. And I have already used portions of that money to do my sound rating, which was very expensive to get for StepStuds. For stock, I needed more stock. It will be used for tooling that I need. And there's another test I need done, a fire rated version. So I'll be using the money for some of that, which is very expensive. So that winning the St. Louis Arts Grant has been extremely beneficial. I could not be more proud.
Congratulations on that. I think that's wonderful. And just the, positive PR that comes from that, from the association and others, just about winning has to be just the icing on the cake.
It has, and it has opened doors, other interviews and stories that have been written about StepStuds already. So it's just now catching on, and I have caught the attention of the world and the metal stud industry. I'm waiting to hear back on a huge nationwide contest with the steel framing industry.
Great.
So we'll see what happens with that.
That's awesome. Well, and I know you mentioned a little bit, which was great, but if someone's listening that doesn't even know where to get started, if they think they have a pretty genius idea, maybe specifically in the trades or in the construction industry, where do you think they should head first? Who should they talk to? That's probably a tough question. It's probably a lot of people.
They could reach out to me if they wanted to, and I could give them some guidance. I'm okay with that. But really, you have to do research, a lot of online research to see what your next step would be, because there could be so many different products that you can create. So it would just depend what the product is. and then which way you want to go with that product. But online research, number one, and protection, number two, whether it be talk to an attorney about, your trademark, your copyright, your patent. Those are all very, very important first steps.
Oh, excellent advice. Excellent advice. We could talk to you all afternoon, Michael. I just really appreciate talking on this episode with Michael Cox, who is the inventor of StepStuds, and he is also a St. Louis Arch Grant recipient and a carpenter. Do you still get to do any carpentry work?
I still do. Yes, I still do. It's in my blood, so I will probably never give that up, but yes.
That's fantastic. We are happy to get to talk to you today. And maybe if you don't mind sharing your email or phone number, if anybody does want to check in with you either about your product or your success.
Oh, sure. Michael.cox@stepstuds.com.
Well, that's easy. Just
Yes.
StepStuds all together.
Exactly. Yes.
Great. Michael.cox@stepstuds.com. And gosh, it's been such a pleasure and to learn from you. And as an entrepreneur myself, I'm just inspired by your hard work and your success. And I know that others listening and watching today will be as well. But thank you so much for joining us on Build America. And please come back and see us again.
Well, thank you very much, Kerry. Thank you.